Hey guys, I don't know if you heard, but Blackpink is in my area. Today I really wanted to cover Ark Passives, when to swap, how to swap, what do, how do you test all this, how do you consider all this. There's a lot of, I'm not gonna say conflicting information, but there's a lot of people saying, yeah bro, just do this and you triple your damage, when I don't think that's the case in a lot of cases, right? Don't just say like, hey, you're Halu, you go one piece and you're fine. Like, understand why One Piece and how One Piece, and also talk to Goldie Roger. So right now we're starting this off. We're on my War Dancer. My War Dancer just cleared hard last night. I crafted one piece. Now this one piece, if you didn't know it, it gives you evolution points. So if you look at there, just below Vigor, we have Ark Passive Point Effect Evolution. If you look at your old gear that you got from Kenyort Fortress, that is Evolution 8 versus Evolution 20. That's 12 more points every time you upgrade. Now, down here at the bottom, you have a summary of your evolution points, right? So let's talk about evolution points first. This is the replacement to your set on your class. So going up here on the top row, this is just stats. So if you're like a full spec with Swift, like I am on my SO War Dancer, this is where I would do the stats. You can see your total points up here. And then you go down here and you can see I have limit break going up to 2, that's 20% damage. And then you have 10% crit rate, and then directional attack skills giving me crit damage 16%. So you can mix and match however you want to try to test out this damage. However, the crit rate, I need that back because I'm swapping off of Halu. So yeah, this is your evolution points. That's driven by the armor here. Next up, we have the Enlightenment tab here. Now, Enlightenment is, you get points for this based on level, let's say. Same with the leap. So if you want more leap points, the most you can have right now is 40. You get 2 points per level, I believe it is. So once you get to the max level here, because I'm at 78, 36, and 40 is the max. So then I'll get up to 40 and I'll get like 4 more points total, because right now I'm 68. Someone in chat gave this tip the other day. If you drop this down one level, you get 2 more points up here. And this node right here reduces the mana cost. So if you have a class that's using a lot of mana due to your T skill, you can lose 2% cooldown coming off of it to get your mana cost down. It's a pretty cool point right there. But since this class just uses orbs, I don't use mana on my T skill. I'm just going to keep it there on the cooldown. Now over here on the left, you have your Hyper Awakenings, the way I understand it. Over here on the right, we have our T skills. So then moving here over to the Enlightenment. This is now between Evolution and Enlightenment, this is how you really determine if you're ready to swap, as well as the jewelry. The first thing you should do before doing anything, I'm going to turn this off. And this is how you start testing it, is you can turn it on, turn it off. So let's go back out here, and we're gonna do something that's a little bit drawn out, and I'm going to swap in some other stuff. So right now, I need to put back on my old jewelry real quick, so bear with me. And I should have my 531 back on. And now I'm gonna go into Trixion here. And this is what I would do if you're thinking about swapping to Ark Passives, is go into Trixion, test where you're at right now, do a 1-minute test, do a 2-minute test, do a 3-minute test, get a better benchmark than a 30-second how much damage did I do, or I did a Guardian and it did this. You want data you can compare, and just doing a 1-minute test with an Awakening usually isn't enough, but it's like a start, right? So let's go into the training grounds here. The one downside, guys, is Trixion is a little bit clunky, right? And so you're going into Trixion right now. It's gonna not equip all your gems. So you have to do this manually, so you have to kind of know your build. If you're not sure which gems you have equipped, you can always pop back out. It is annoying to do it. You can also just go to Lost Ark Nexus, which I'm pulling up right here on my other monitor, and I'm just gonna look at the gems here, so just do a quick reference back and forth. Unfortunately, you do get attack power right now from converting all your gems. So to make this a true test, to offset that damage gain, it's gonna be a little bit trickier, right? So what I'm going to do, let's do wind. This is also case sensitive up here. Our T4 gem's not bugged in Trixion, makes it kind of hard to test right now. The way it works is if I go in without Ark Passive on, I can't select T4 gems, unfortunately. So right now I'm probably missing a couple % damage testing with my old gems, but it's just so we can get an even test. Something else to note is the pet and the stats based on your Ark Passives do fluctuate a little bit, so it's a little awkward and weird. I don't know if KR got to fix it. I hope they did. All right, so we're in here. I'm set up for the most part. Let's do a timer 2-minute test, and here we go. Now we're cooking. We're gonna send T-Scale first this time into this rotation. So right now I'm riding about 50 million DPS or so. All right, so let me turn off my camera here just to show the results. So that was a 2-minute test on Trixion as a SO War Dancer. We did 38.6 mil with a 78% crit rate. So they're like doing this test right here is pretty cool. So now let's exit. And we're gonna do this the other way now to try to figure out where it's out. All right, so now I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna turn on Ark Passive. We're gonna put on my jewelry, although it's not gonna matter for how I'm going to test here. So the next thing we're doing here is, let's go to set engraving effect. We already turned all these on. You can also notice I have these little blue diamonds here. This is signaling the extra stone effects. All right, so next up, we're gonna do the test with Ark Passive on. I'll just put this up here or something for now. Up here. Up here? We'll go up here for a little bit. I'm gonna hang out up here, guys. Great. So now we're talking about my Ark Passive setup. Just as a talking point before we go further, let's talk about your horizontal that you need to do in order to do this. You get extra points by leveling, so getting your character a higher level helps a lot with you swapping. We can't get this one yet, but you can get the North Curzon Adventure Tome. You should be just finishing up the Una reputation if you've been doing it since day 1 of T4. And then this is going to be a pity for a lot of people making it to 6 weeks here. So this is what I'm hoping for. This is 5 points. This is 3 points. This is 3 points. Looking back at this, that is for this part right here, that is your enlightenment, which is largely driven by jewelry. Something to note is that relic pieces only give 9 enlightenment points down here on earrings and rings, and the neck gives 10. So let me pull up this again, and let's talk about that. Let's say relic jewelry. So that would be 46. Because 9, 18, 27, 36, plus 10, 46, yeah? And then ancient is 48 plus 13, right? So 61 points. So now we're looking at this right here, and then we have Una, 3 enlightenment points, Venture Tome, World Boss, 5, and then so if you have all this done, this is an extra 11 points. Levels 20, and so I'm at 68, and that's 2 more points, right? So 1 point per level after 50. All right, so that being said, that means I can have a maximum, theoretical maximum right now would be 61 plus 20, it's 81. Plus all these points up here if you have those, right? And that's 92, great. And then evolution over here, Relic is giving us 8 evolution points, right? Versus 12. This is letting you go further down this tree. The further you go down this tree, the more damage you're making up for. Your jewelry lines make a lot, not like a ton, but they do make a difference in your damage, right? So me getting additional damage, outgoing damage here, plus the prime stat, like you can get like I'm gonna quote Mr. Zeal's ambitions here, but it's like 10% damage or something you're earning by min-maxing your jewelry. Also something to note is jewelry has a very large variation, enough to give you a 0.1 to 0.2% variance. So guys, just to notice, so up here at the top, guys, if you see this, you have to say strength 17,134. So look, it's 17.1, 17.6, 17.5, 17.6, 16.9, 16.8. So this is going to have enough of a variance here, and it's not linear with the quality, where you can be losing or gaining 0.1 to 0.2% damage just on the stat. And it's not linear with quality. So the prime stat you do want to check for. I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about a little bit more. So we have 12.2, 12, 12, let's see, where's a good example here? 11.3 versus 12.2, that's 1,000 prime stat missing. Consider that like 0.1% damage. Here's going down to 10.9. It's a pretty big difference there. Not the end of the world, but it is something to look at. If you like, not everyone is looking at that. So it's just something to think about while you're looking at jewelry, right? And now let's get into the next part. So now I'm going to go back into Trixion here. If you haven't set it up yet, make sure you go to your engravings. Here at the bottom, you have set engraving effect. Just equip the ones that you would use for your build, all 5 of them. So we got Cursed Adrenaline, Grudge, Raid Captain, Keen Blunt. We just equipped everything I needed right here. You can see my stone right here giving these effects, right? So now I'm going to have to equip a couple gems. So I'm going to go back to services. So notice because I turned Ark Passive on going in, you can see I'm just missing 2 gems here, and that's just because they're below level 7s. I think it's like 5s and below or something like that you have to manually equip. So I'm going to equip, I think it's an energy combustion cooldown, and then triple fist cooldown is the other one I want. All right, so there we go. I'm going to save that. Next thing I like to do when you're testing guys in here is we're going to do, I like doing max MP. You can just click it and equip it up here on the top, and spirit absorption just for testing. When you right click or have things things equipped up here. This is automatically going to be a legendary engraving. Down here at the bottom is how you set the stone up or down. I like that it swaps it every single time I change it. That's very annoying. Cool. I'm grumpy now. Up here at the top, every time you click this is your relic book. So this is having 5 relic books is 1, 10, 15, and 20 relic books if you do want to test that. So we got all my engravings equipped. Now let's look at my character, and I think there's a bug right now where it's doubling up your pet. So if you notice, I have 1995 spec, even though I don't have that much right now, just because it's adding my pet like twice pretty much. So I do need to subtract out a little bit there. So you have to manually set your stats, unfortunately. So it's 160 base stat right now. So I'm going to do 1995 minus 160. And then we're going to go over here and it's 1835. And then we're going to subtract again another 160 to get it to 1675. It's annoying that you have to do this, but that's what it is. And now it should display correctly 1835. All right. So now we have our engravings are set. My gems are set. My skills are set. My stats are set. We have all my leap points down here. Let's open this up for Ark Passive. So now if you have 72 points, 72 points lets you fill out this as you see here. There's different combos to get 72 points based on how your levels, based on your other points that we outlined right here, right? So jewelry, levels, and horizontal. So 11 points from horizontal, 20 points from leveling, relic is 46, 61 is ancient. So what does that mean? That means you can mix and match jewelry to reach different breakpoints. Down here at the bottom, this node is where a lot of classes gain a lot of power, including War Dancer, right? The difference between getting 72 and an additional 8 points for 80 is a big difference, and we can test that. These things on the side require 2 points. This is 8 points going down here. So 8, this will be 8, this will be 16, this will be 24, right? Evolution, based on what I have now, I'm going to put 2 into evolution type damage. Now, what is evolution type damage? It's a new type of damage they added in with Ark Passives that gets calculated into your total damage. Cool. So we're all set up to test, where this is just going off of having 72 points, 1 piece, and then over here with the elite points based on level 68. Let's do another test. Let's set this up. We're gonna do another 2-minute test, doing the same exact thing. No hyper awakening, single awakening. So we're gonna go in here. Okay, we're going. So we're at the 1-minute mark, and we're already near what my damage was at before, if you guys didn't see that. And this is doing 1-piece swap with mostly relic and some horizontal done. So we're pretty much already at my damage that I had before without making other changes. But if you do notice, it is not doubling my damage with 1 piece. All right, so here we go, guys. Look at that damage. All right, so let's go to this right here. This is with T4. We did 4,680,524 and 30, 61.74% crit, and we did 39. All right, cool. So look at the difference, guys. So these guys saying you get 1 piece, 72 points, and you're doubling your damage. I'm just saying, guys, like, dude, you got to test it, right? Because the power on War Dancer in a lot of classes comes a little bit. It's great. You look good. You look great. Do you want to show everyone? Do you want to show everyone your Halloween costume? I'm not laughing. Are they gonna what? Are they gonna laugh at you? Probably. Do you want to? Guys, my wife is gonna actually come on camera because she wants to show you the Halloween costume she's been working on.
Do you like it?
Do they? I mean...
Yay!
Guys, look at the hat she worked on. Alright, guys. So back into this here. So there's a lot of people saying like, wow, I did so much more damage when I swapped over. But like here I am showing you guys with 1 piece, 72 points, you're breaking even. And a lot of people are saying they're gaining damage. And I don't know if it's true in almost all cases, guys. There's going to be cases where it does. Now, how do you gain more power from this? And that's where you get better jewelry with better lines, right? So better lines like additional damage, crit rate on ring. That's where you're going to be gaining up to 10 to 15% damage, depending if you go to ancient, and getting to this node right here. So if I'm getting to 80, which I need 2 more ancient pieces to do, unless I get the world boss and get lucky. So I'm going to put this point down here, which I'm almost to, and we're going to try to buy that jewelry today. I can't do anything here until next week, and every time I upgrade another ancient piece, it's going to be giving me an additional 12% damage, or 12 evolution points, which then lets me get more points down here, which is huge. Look at an extra 10% crit rate, guys. So next week, 2 weeks if you're on normal, getting an additional 10% crit rate and more damage down here, 16% more crit damage is huge, right? So let's go ahead and test this out. So we're gonna go here. Here we go. All right, so now with that 1 extra node, guys, if you look, 72 enlighten here, 1 piece 68. So now with T4, 80 enlighten, 1 piece 68. We did 6. And then we did 63.32% crit, and we did 50 million.4 DPS, right? So do you guys see what I'm talking about here? Like, that last node is probably the most important thing you can reach right now if you want to actually gain damage out of Ark passive in our current state until we get more pieces. So if you guys are like panic buying right now, make sure you test this, what I'm doing right now on your classes, because it's not just like, oh my God, I doubled my damage. Can you put the enlightenment point like locations where to get them on the Google Doc? I think they're all in there, dude. I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look. I think it's up at the top. All right, world boss, Ark passive potion, blood claw chart, Una, Ark passive potion, adventure tome, Ark passive potion. So it's all here at on this. Now let's hop out of here. So if you guys notice, there's a big difference between getting that bottom row, and that's where you actually gain damage on most classes based on my testing on Sharpshooter and War Dancer so far. But just swapping early because someone said you can do it at 1 piece is not always the play. You do need to also min-max the jewelry lines, and it's very, very, very expensive to min-max jewelry lines right now. So something to consider is if you are doing enlightenment points and you're trying to buy jewelry. Here's a problem you're going to face. It's these little guys right here called Luminous Gem Shards. It costs 450 of these if you want to fully hone a piece of jewelry by yourself. And people are charging a premium for that roll on any jewelry, even if it's a stinker. Like, it's 100K right now to buy an ancient piece of jewelry that has garbage lines. It's crazy out there right now. So if you're trying to like rush to like swap, I wouldn't, because you're not gaining a lot of damage unless you're getting ancient jewelry that has good lines on it and you're reaching that 80 point. You could do it and then replace it later. That's what I did on my characters, right? So example, my sharpshooter guys, I've been sending 20 pieces a day from alts to my main since tier 4 came out. Now those 20 pieces a day times 7, 140 times what, 3, like we're barely getting enough to try to do another roll on it, and then we have to do 5 pieces, right? At most, I'm able to hit 3 pieces of jewelry and I still have to buy no matter what. Now, if you have infinite gold, you could buy pieces and then get 40% return on that. But let me show you what that looks like. So let's talk about jewelry now. So if we look at a level 3 rolled ancient piece right here, bare minimum, I'm spending 100K. Let me check quality, even though quality doesn't matter as much with this jewelry. So 100K guys, and I will get 177, I think it is, Luminous Gem Shards back. So if I want to spend 100Ks for 170, that means I have to buy like basically 3 pieces in order to make back enough to gamble on 1. Like, that's a big problem right now. You need insane beluga whale gold to be able to be like doing that kind of behavior right now. So what you can do, however, is look for a piece with 1 or 2 rolls and spend your luminous shards a little bit. Be careful right now. This is a premium currency right now. Don't just blow it all and then be like, look what I can do. Like, because you still have to make back a lot of that luminous shard. You can use alts to roll it. However, I discovered last night you get screwed right now, because if I go onto an alt, let's say, so if I go over here to like my gun lancer has 500 shards or something on it. I cannot roll ancient jewelry on it because it's not 1680. So if you're trying to do ancient jewelry, it has to be rolled on a 1680. I blew through everything on both these characters trying to roll for my main. So now my War Dancer has, like, it doesn't have enough to do anything. And I haven't been min-maxing it. Now there's the weekly swipe pack where you can get more of those luminous shards. This is a huge time gate for us right now. So these packages here, where is it? This guy right here. This one comes with 150 if you buy buy this 3 times, which would be about a week's worth of shard transferring back to your main. So again, if you haven't been doing it, make sure you are sending things from your alt to your main to try to dismantle to get more of those shards. I also mentioned that you can use points to upgrade jewelry. So if, let's say if I'm on my war dancer, and I'm not going to do it right now. Okay, I got to go to a different character. One sec. All right, so you can go up here. I can roll these up to 3 times, right? And then I'll use 20 and then 30. So that's 60 shards total. I would only get 40% of those back. So something like 24 fragments for a fully rolled relic piece. And you're spending 5-6 gold plus fions every time you need to do that. So a lot of people are doing that right now, buying garbage fully rolled jewelry. So again, if you have characters and you're not hard pushing, you're not sweating, you're not going crazy right now, you could easily be rolling all these on all your alts. Hopefully you have a bunch of like just like low paying type workers out there giving you shards. You can upgrade the jewelry, spend a little gold, put it on the marketplace, and you're going to be cashing in on those luminous shards if they're extra right now. And then ancients are a completely different market. You can get an okay roll. It's selling for near 100k to 4 million. You know what I mean? Like, it is all over the place. All right, so let's go back to my war dancer here. So the main reason we were talking about this today. So now, as you guys saw, I gained like 10 million DPS. So what, 20 to 30%, let's just say a 30% damage increase by getting one more row down there. Getting evolution points on the other side by getting more armor pieces is going to help me net that and make up that difference. And also getting the right jewelry that has damage lines on it in order to offset the loss of losing your entire set. Because we're removing all of this stuff here. I don't think I can show it right now because I have Ark Passives. So let's turn this off real quick so you can see it again. Like hallucination over here, those effects we're gonna lose if we swap to Ark Passive. So you have to make up that damage somehow, and that's the main inhibitor right now of you swapping to Ark Passive. My war dancer, guys, if basically what we just tested and what we just found out is I cannot swap with 1 piece and 72 enlightenment points. I have to make it to the next tier, which means I'm missing 4 points right here. How do I get 4 points? It's boss, or I buy 2 more pieces of ancient jewelry. So let's take a look at ancient jewelry and see what we can do. Unfortunately, it is very, very, very expensive to buy pre-rolled jewelry, as we just saw. Rings are like one of the biggest contributors to damage too. If you're doing 3 relic, 2 ancient for 72 enlightenment points, does it need to be all max rolled? You're gonna have to min-max it eventually. It is a decent chunk of damage. It doesn't have to be max rolled right now. You're gonna be paying a super hyper whale premium if you're gonna try to min-max right now. If you are 1680 and you have access to ancient jewelry, you want to hit that 80 point node in almost every class if you want to do more damage. That's the underlying fact here. That is this right here on most classes where your damage is going to come from. You also have these side nodes right here. So now I have these extra points. You can do this, right? This is giving me 1% damage when esoteric orbs are consumed. So look at this. I got 2% damage every time I use a skill and cycle. I can go down here and say, gathers esoteric energy each time a normal skill is used. With each stack, outgoing damage from the next esoteric skill, 0.8 up to 3 stacks. So I can do this, and we're getting 1.6% up to 3 stacks. So close to 5%, let's say 4.8. So we can do something like that maybe to make up some of that damage, but it's not going to cover the difference of going down here to this node. So earring is one of the places you can get away with some garbage. Rings give a lot of damage, and neck gives a lot of damage. So you can get away with a little bit sloppier ears than rings is kind of how I'm looking at it right now. One thing you can also do is change your refine level here to 2. That's going to search for things that have only been rolled twice. And if you have 225 of those luminous crystals we were talking about earlier, you can then put them to work trying to get yourself some of these things. Look at that, dude. That's a stinker. That's a low roll with weapon power for 140k. And I'm looking at that like this. I could sure use that. At this point, if you get a legendary crit chance roll on a relic ring, is it better just to keep it? Not really. If you need to get the enlightenment points. The enlightenment points give you way more damage, but you need to min-max it eventually. So it's kind of like weighing out what you're willing to spend. That's gonna it's like buying a new car and driving it off the lot right now. As soon as you drive that car off the lot, it already diminished in value. You know what I mean? All right, so here's what I need to do, guys. All right, so here's where we're at. We went through Ark Passives pretty top to bottom. Basically, what it comes down to is I need more pieces of jewelry. Right now I'm breaking even on damage, contrary to what most people are gonna tell you that you're doubling your damage.